My name is Autumn Liv Cyr. I am a visual artist, a musician. I do graphic design, murals, anything I can get my hands on, really. So I do have a mural, and I put it up in the Kilburn Mills last year. It was a great opportunity to get out and do things. I actually won a contest, but I really feel like I won more than that. But it was grueling, like the work. I enjoyed every minute of it, but it was 36 hours in about 2 days on a weekend.
Wow.
The mural that I have is inspired by graffiti, and it's very much vibrant, but there is a strong message, you know? And it also kind of relates to graffiti in the sense that the message is the youth will continue to make art even without the means. I mean, it's a multi-layered piece, you know, there's multiple meanings. The personal meaning that I can't really go into. The overall meaning, it's a mural and a mural. So the mural is coming to life. It's coming at you. The child in the mural is crying because they don't have the means. There's a lot of pain, especially in impoverished communities. So they're crying onto the page because that's all they have is a piece of paper, and they're still making art. If painting or art or anything, music, if I couldn't do it, then, you know, it would become very gray. Probably wouldn't say much of anything. It would be very hard to remove that from me because it is in everything that I do. Not just storytelling, it's statement making, creating something to show people what you mean. You know, I get a lot of support from people, I get a lot of work in. Financially, I'm not very well off and haven't been. When you're not making money as an artist and you're just like, damn, like, how do I get through this? How do I overcome? And you just get down on yourself because you're not feeling successful. There is a monetary value, and obviously you got to make ends meet. So when you're not making money with your art, it does feel kind of selfish. Of course, the value of art goes up when the artist passes away because it's now limited. You can't get much more from that artist because they're gone. Throughout history, artists were very much supported while they were living, and then the value only went up more as they passed away because of the limitation thing. Art should be available to everybody. I think that's another great thing for public art, and why galleries seem so inaccessible, whereas murals and graffiti art is everywhere. Anybody can look at it and anybody can take inspiration from it, and it really brightens things up. I think some art is a luxury, but I kind of steer away from any like almost elitist ideas of art. I don't think it should just be for the rich. I think it should be for anyone and everybody who wants it. I think the core of it is you want to be heard, and what better way than to put what you gotta say on the side of a building where everyone can see it, you know? Everybody wants these HOAs and clean houses and perfect city buildings, and granted, I do understand both sides, because, you know, some of these buildings are historical, some of them, because architecture is an art in itself, you know? But at the same time, I think graffiti or any kind of mural art, wall art, really brightens things up. It makes society even more human. Absolutely, there's a beauty in, I think, graffiti art more than, you know, just stale buildings. I genuinely believe that. I think it adds this vibrance and life to a city. I mean, even abandoned buildings are great places to tag, so it brings an old, decrepit building back to life, you know? How I would paint that, what light is that? Oh, look at the textures on that thing. Oh, how would I, looking at your face, I'm seeing the contours and the face shape, and how I would structure that. Painting is a lot like sculpting. It's a lot like building something from nothing. Like, an empty canvas is almost like a block of marble that hasn't been carved into yet. So I'm constantly observing, and I'm constantly making up narratives and stories, people watching, just always observing. And it makes you kind of take a step back. Things start to feel kind of alien. You feel very far removed. AI art is very interesting because I do believe that it can be used as a tool for artists. I don't think that it should be the end-all be-all. I do think there is a level of creativity and humanity that computers cannot and will not ever replicate. Good for the seller who makes $1 million, but it's not something I'll ever see myself doing, probably. Like, really crave and desire human-made work, even if it's tool-assisted, tool being the AI itself. Like, most humans put 120, 50, 70% of themselves into their work, and I will always be the type that's gonna rather burn out than fade away. 40, 60, 70 hours into a piece, and they just message you and they say, I don't like it, I'm not paying you, or can I get a discount after the work's already done? That would be like going into your full-time job, working overtime that week, and your boss comes up to you and they say, yeah, you know, I hope you don't mind, I'm just not gonna pay you this week. That sucks. Anybody would be upset. And there's a reason why they call it work. Like, art is work. And when you talk about your portfolio or your body of pieces, you say, this is my body of work. This is work that I've done. So, I mean, there's so many inspirations for me. I know many kind, wonderful local artists. There is this friendly competition kind of thing going on in New Bedford, where it's like I see somebody doing cool stuff and I'm like, man, I want to do cool stuff. I gotta step up my game. No, this is what I want to do. And just seeing them do stuff, or you know, watching them hustle and grind, because you know there is a lot of survival that goes in. Stylistically, you know, I do get a lot of inspiration from Edward Hopper and Francis Bacon. I love stories about stories about life, stories about mental health, struggles. Like, I don't know, I just want to make as much as I can and say as much as I can. And we have as much of an impact as possible, you know? Like, as artists, we're putting ourselves onto the world and we're leaving our mark behind. And even if the audience is small, I mean, I'm still leaving something behind, something to think about, something to ponder. And I think that's the coolest part about being an artist, is you're guaranteed to have something behind. That being said, it's, you know, painting, for example, is the best way to get as many eyes on one thing as possible. Whereas live performing, it's a little bit different, you know? Art life is, you should put that in too. Art life is staying up till 3, getting up, finishing a deadline for 8.